Traditionally, homes such as yours have been protected against termite attack with the application of a chemical barrier or zone around and under the building. The goal of this process is to place a toxicant between the building and the ground beneath it. Depending on the type of product used, barrier treatments work by either repelling termites as they attempt to enter the building or by killing termites at some point after they come in contact with the barrier. Barrier treatments can be an effective form of termite control. However, they have their limitations. Barriers are effective only as long as they are in place and are of a certain strength or potency. If a barrier is physically disturbed by events such as running water or soil movement, the continuity of the barrier can be interrupted, resulting in gaps through which termites can gain access to the building. The effective life of a barrier treatment can be highly dependent upon the strength or concentration at which it is applied. If a barrier is applied at a low strength, or if a barrier degrades over time, termites can regain access to the building. Barrier chemicals now in use do not last as long as previously available barrier chemicals. These chemicals have been banned. This makes it necessary to reapply barrier treatments more frequently in order to ensure the building is always protected. The process of applying a barrier can be an invasive process. To form a barrier under a building, it may be necessary to drill a large number of holes in the outer surface of the building. These are necessary to inject the barrier toxicant between the building and the earth. It can be particularly difficult to form an effective barrier under an already completed building, and it is simply not possible to form a complete barrier under all parts of a typical in-place concrete slab. Often, a barrier product can only be applied under the outer perimeter of this type of building. This means that if a crack forms in the middle of the slab, termites may have free access to the building. The barrier application process might in some cases even require the removal of interior finished surfaces. Finally, barrier applications can involve the application of thousands of liters of toxicant spray under your home, or into the environment around it. Remember, the level of effectiveness of a barrier is highly dependent on the thoroughness with which the barrier is applied. However, the more thoroughly the barrier is applied, the more toxicant is left in place around the building. And once the toxic barrier is applied, it cannot be removed easily. In summary, barriers act on termites only if they are attacking the building or attempting to attack the building. Barriers can be thought of as a passive or defensive approach to termite control. The barrier application process can involve the application of thousands of liters of toxicant-containing solution around your home. The application process can be invasive as well as labor-intensive, and once applied, a barrier cannot be easily removed. In contrast to barriers, a newer and more advanced method of termite control recently introduced is gaining wide acceptance. This method is called termite baiting. Although the goal of barriers and baiting is the same, there is a world of difference between the two methods. Termite baiting can be thought of as a proactive or offensive approach to termite control. Instead of needing to wait for termites to attempt to attack before being effective, as in the case with barriers, the baiting process seeks out termites where they live and deals with them there, often well before they ever attempt to attack the building. In contrast to the larger amounts of toxicant used in barrier applications, baiting involves the strategic application of very small quantities of toxicants. It has been estimated that a home can be protected from termites by baiting with as little as 1/10,000th of the amount of toxicant needed to protect it using some barrier treatment products. Unlike barrier toxicants, termite bait products are applied only when termites are present, and a termite bait product can be quickly and easily removed from a building if it becomes necessary. Unlike the labor-intensive nature of a barrier application, baiting is a knowledge-intensive process. Instead of relying on large amounts of manual labor like a barrier application, baiting relies on termites to do much of the work themselves. The premise underlying termite baiting is very simple. that a termite colony can be eliminated as the result of its members consuming a bait, and that a properly designed and deployed termite baiting system can eliminate all termite colonies in the ground under a building, thereby protecting it against termite attack.